I only know 2 raps, and neither of them go to this beat, so. Now, here's a little story I got to tell. Oh, I think we're live now. Hey, everybody. If you're joining us at home, man, we're so glad that you get to hang out with us, even if it's only remotely. Some of you I know are probably quarantined because of COVID. Some of you, maybe you just can't get here tonight, so you're watching. We're glad you're here. Some of you are probably on your way here, or you're locked outside because they haven't opened the doors yet. But man, we're gonna have some fun here tonight. Boom. I'm gonna go and look and see if anyone is watching online. Yes. Check, check. There we go. I have a headset and a microphone for fun. Okay, let's see here. Okay. There we go. It says that 3 of you are watching. So if you're watching, you need to drop into the chat and tell me that you're watching online. And if you're here in the room, Ethan, what's up? There we go. I got one microphone now, Kelsey. I'll try not to do that again. Ethan, what's up? How's it going, man? All right. Lexi, did you already push the button in the other room? Well, come here. I'm gonna put my mask on because I'm gonna talk to Lexi here. You can't hear me through my smacking gum? I'll put that there for later.
Putting it on the speaker.
Oh, you already have a microphone. Perfect. Okay, so we were gonna do a game, but I don't think there's anyone else to play your game against. So here's what I think we're gonna do. Okay, come. You need to get in the shot with me so that they can see us. Okay, make sure you come this way, a little even farther. Right there, you're good. Okay, what we're gonna do is Lexi is going to tell jokes. If you laugh at her jokes, you are out. Okay? If you don't laugh at her jokes, you are still in the game, okay? Now, if you're online, I'm gonna be watching, you have to be honest, and you have to let me know if you laughed at Lexi's jokes, all right? Yes.
Am I allowed to laugh?
Of course.
Okay, good.
Lexi will be laughing at all of her jokes because she thinks they're hilarious, okay?
Okay.
Is everyone ready?
Can I tell them now?
What? Yes, you get out your list of jokes. I'm watching online to see if anyone. People are making fun of me online. That's okay.
Are you ready?
Now they're going to be making fun of you. Okay.
Okay. Why did the old man fall in the well?
I don't know. Why did the old man fall in the well?
Because he couldn't see that well.
Because he couldn't see that well.
I'm so funny. I'm so funny.
Okay, Lexi,
It's fine.
I think you have to take off your mask so that people can see your face. Did anyone laugh at that first joke? No one laughed at the first joke, Lexi.
Okay, it's fine. I'll up my game. All right. How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh?
How many tickles?
10 tickles. There we go.
No one's laughing, Lexi.
It's not
Tentacles.
It's only me.
Tentacles, like tentacles, yeah. Okay.
Okay, what do you call a cow that jumped over a barbed wire fence?
What do you call a cow that jumped over a barbed wire fence?
No, close. Utter disaster.
Utter disaster.
Why do people not think I'm funny?
Kind of like these jokes. Oh, utter disaster.
Okay, this one's funny.
Okay,
this one's funny.
funny. Do you promise?
Why don't eggs tell jokes?
Why don't eggs tell jokes?
Eggs, like E-G-G.
Why don't eggs tell jokes? I have no idea.
I forgot the punchline.
That one made me laugh because you forgot the punchline.
Okay, because they crack each other up.
Oh.
Wow.
Why-
It's fine. I think I'm funny.
Why do eggs tell jokes?
Why do they tell jokes?
Oh no, that's not gonna work. I already used the word jokes. I was gonna. Why are eggs funny?
Why aren't eggs funny?
Yeah,
Why?
because all the yolks.
I don't get it.
See, that's funny. That's funny. I just made that one up right there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, ready? Here's this one. This is my favorite joke of all time. No
We're
one
either
laughs.
killing it or we're dying up here.
I'm
One of
gonna
the two.
be So
This.
upset if people don't laugh. Okay. What do you call somebody with no body and no nose?
What do you call somebody with no body and no nose? Yes. Nobody knows. That's good. That's good.
It's so good.
All right, no body,
Okay.
no nose.
Why do math books look so sad? Because of all their problems.
Yeah, there you go. All the problems. Math books are very, very sad. Okay.
Ready?
Why are these jokes so sad? Sorry.
Upset.
Sorry, that was mean. Okay.
Why? Oh, no, I already messed up. How does a penguin build its house?
How does what?
Penguin build its house.
How does a penguin build its house? I have no idea.
It glues it together.
He glues it together.
It glues it together.
That's good. That's really good.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Thank you. I think of them myself. Okay. Because he was outstanding in his field.
That's good. He was outstanding in his field. I don't get it.
Okay, all right.
Did you hear my joke about the coronavirus?
No.
Well, I could tell it to you, but it would take 2 weeks to figure out if you got it. See? That's hilarious right there. Hilariosity.
Okay, here's the next one. Ready?
Yeah.
Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock-knock joke? He won a Nobel Prize.
Because he knocks instead of ringing the bell.
Yeah, that's...
All right. All right.
Okay, this one.
What number are we on?
This is the last one.
Oh, man. This is the last one already.
Okay, so have you ever heard of people who talk about how they pick their nose? I feel like I was just born with mine.
Maybe you need to say that one again. Make sure everyone catches that
Have you
one.
heard about the people who pick their nose? I was just born with mine.
She didn't get to pick. Aaron can't handle it. He's just walking away.
Because they're too good. They're too good. He can't handle the heat. Those are all of my jokes.
Okay, Allie's online, and she says, do you all want to hear my favorite joke?
Yes.
Okay. She says, well, I think she put in the punchline, but not the joke.
No. Just tell the punchline.
Yeah, I could make up the joke, Allie, but I think it'd be better if you told us. So we'll wait and see if she tells us the joke. All right, Lexi, great job. Thank you so much. Everyone, give it up for Lexi. Does anyone have a joke that they're dying to share right now? No? You just realize I can't follow that. Exactly. Still don't see the joke.
Kendall,
Yes.
what do you call a cow with no arms and no legs?
A cow with no arms and no legs. Ground beef.
Ground beef. What do you call a pig with no arms and no legs?
A plate?
A pig
Oh, a pig.
with no arms and no legs.
Ground pork.
Ground pork. What do you call a dog with no arms and no legs?
Ground dog.
You don't call it, it won't come.
Oh, hey! I like that. That's good. That's good. Ground dog isn't a thing. It's good. I could take my mask off now. Come on in. You know what? When we're live on YouTube, we have to play weird music like this that isn't copyrighted. And it's not good. What are we listening to right now? The reason why no one cares if you play this on YouTube is because no one wants you to know that they made this song. That's how bad it is. Yes, it's like elevator music. It's the same thing. Yep. Next week, Not this coming week. Next week is Thanksgiving week. Whose favorite, is anyone Thanksgiving your favorite holiday? Aaron, it's your favorite holiday. That's right, we went over this last time, I think. I love Thanksgiving. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Yeah. Turkey. Green bean casserole. And that's yours too, Jocelyn? All right. What else? Ethan, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Meatballs. That's amazing. I don't have meatballs at Thanksgiving, but that would be really good. Jackson, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Yeah. Turkey? Okay. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Yeah. Mashed potatoes, me too. That's my favorite. Or stuffing, it's a hard choice. I can't decide between the two. Actually, gravy's my favorite Thanksgiving food. I pour it on everything. Yeah. So anything that gravy goes on is my favorite food, which is pretty much everything. Deviled eggs you have for Thanksgiving? Yes. What's my favorite Halloween candy? Ooh, Milky Way Midnight. Yep. Because I like the Three Musketeers, but then I need the caramel part. But I don't like Snickers because I don't need the peanuts. So Milky Way, perfection. Yeah. Just that's my jam. What about you? What's your favorite? Oh, good call. That's so good too. Yep. Favorite Halloween candy? 100 grand. Or the Milky Way Dark, okay. Yep, there you go. Jocelyn, favorite Halloween candy? Smarties, really? Okay. Interesting. You can't argue. Stacy's arguing with you right now. She says no. She refuses. Well, in your mind, not in Jocelyn's mind, that's her favorite candy ever. You're just telling her to not have an opinion. My grandma used to hand us Smarties in church, and then we would hand the wrapper back to her, and she would wrap it around her finger and make a little cup out of it. It looked like a little champagne cup. It had a bottom, had a stem, and then the cup part. I always tried to make it. Mine always looked terrible, but maybe Google that. Smarties champagne cup. I don't know. Feels like a thing. Is that Erica? Erica, what's your favorite Halloween candy? Erica, what's your favorite Halloween candy? Okay. That's the number one favorite candy in America. Yeah. Yep, that's the deal. Erica, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Mashed potatoes. No, oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. No gravy is not a choice. All right, we're about ready to get going here. Everyone get on your phone, text your friends, say, where are you right now? Come on. Yeah, everyone's like, oh, I got to get up for school tomorrow. No, you don't. School doesn't start until what? 10 o'clock. 11. 10? 11. Really? I thought it was 11. Okay, no off hours. Okay. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Oh, Allie's joke finally came through on YouTube. Are you ready? Why did Mozart kill all of his chickens? Because when he asked them what their favorite composer was, they all said Bach, 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 Bach. I'm gonna tell her that. All right. I told her, sorry, nobody laughed, Allie. Cool. Kelsey, are our worship teams, are they ready to go? Okay, we're going to have to go out of order. I messed up. I'm going to move Impossible Shot to after worship, all right? Sorry about that. That's my bad. I didn't get it set up because I was doing other things. So, anyway, we're going to get started. If you're joining us online, again, we're glad that you're online with us. Sorry you can't be here with us in the building, maybe next week. But to get us started, we got a little video we would love for you to watch. Check this out.
Hey guys, go ahead and stand up and sing with us. I was buried beneath my shame. Who could carry that kind of weight? It was my tomb till I met you. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your glorious day. You called my name, and I ran out of that grave, out of the darkness, into your
spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I could earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah, yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I could earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
There's no shadow you can light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I could earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
It was great singing with you guys. You guys can go ahead and take a seat.
I want you to do me a favor. Wherever you're at, whether you're online, whether you're in the room, I want you to think of the most beautiful place that you've ever seen with your own eyes, okay? It can't be something that you maybe saw in a movie or on TV or even a picture of it. It has to be something that you've seen with your own eyes. Just think about it. Everybody got your place? Somebody over here, where's your place? Yeah. Mexico. Like on the beach? All right. Somebody over here. Anybody? What? Sunset in San Diego. All right. What about anybody over here? Yeah. Hanging Lake. I'm going to guess that's in the mountains. Perfect. Well, I want to tell you my favorite place it always was this place, and it is here in Colorado. And if you go to the top of Peak 8 at Breckenridge, maybe you're skiing, maybe you just ride the lift up there and hike up there in the summertime, I don't know. But when you get to the top of Peak 8, you can look out in every direction. And when it's wintertime and it's snowing and you're up there skiing, it is the most beautiful thing you'll ever see. You see mountains forever, you see snow-covered peaks, and it just goes on forever. And you're kind of higher than everything else, and you can just see everything. It is so awesome. And so when I graduated from college, I moved to California, and when I lived in California, this was a conversation we would have, back and forth with like high school students that I used to hang out there, and they would always say, I would say, you guys, you don't understand, like California's cool, the ocean's amazing, all of that, but Colorado is the most beautiful place in the world. Like, it's the most beautiful place. And they're like, nah, it's not even the best mountains. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are you saying? Like, I was like, no, you guys don't understand. Like, the top of Peak 8 in Breckenridge. And these kids, they would tell me, they said, listen, have you ever been to Yosemite? And I was like, no, big deal. What's so big about Yosemite? And they're like, Yosemite is like the most beautiful place in the world. And I was like, whatever, And so one day I finally went, and I mean, like, I was proud. I was from Colorado, not California. Like, our mountains are better than your mountains. I don't care what you say. But finally, one day I went to Yosemite, and when you're driving into Yosemite, you come through this tunnel, and when you get through the tunnel, you see a picture, and it looks like this. And this is the Yosemite Valley. And so you're actually way up above it, and you're still like a 45-minute drive. You have to go through all these windy roads to get down to the bottom of the valley. But these are just enormous granite rocks. That one right in the middle, kind of the tallest one on the right there, is Half Dome. On the left is El Capitan, and like rock climbers come from all over. And this is taken obviously not in the springtime, because in the springtime there are waterfalls. You can see the one in the back kind of flowing over, like 5 different waterfalls that fall over into the valley. And I remember the first time I drove in, I was like, oh dang. They were right. This is the most beautiful mountains in the country. Like, this makes Colorado look lame. Like, this is amazing. And then you drive down there and you kind of get into the valley and you look up at all the rocks and you're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Like, God created all this. This is so cool, blah, blah, blah. And so I had to get there and I had to see it in order to believe it, right? I couldn't just say, oh yeah, I'm sure Yosemite's cool. Or like, even looking at a picture, you guys see that picture, you're like, that's cool. Have you been to Colorado? And I'm like, you have to be there. You have to see it. And we've been in this series where we've been asking questions, of God, and we've taken a whole bunch of questions from you guys. And like literally in the past 2 weeks, you've sent us like 60, 70, 80 questions. We could talk about those every week for the next 2 years, right? But what I wanted to kind of do was, after I looked at so many of those questions, a bunch of them had to do with kind of the same topic. And I think it could be summed up in this question, the question, why does faith have to be blind? Like, why does faith have to be blind? Like, to understand something, to have faith in something, we have to do it without seeing it. That's kind of the definition of faith. Or put it easier this way, say, why can't I know more? And as we've talked in small groups and as you've sent in questions like this, what does God want me to do? We talked a lot about purpose. At the end of my life, I'd ask God, did I do enough? Did I do the right things? If I could see God, then I could believe in him. Or why doesn't God just talk to me? Like if God just came down and was like, hey, Kendall, you should do this. Hey, Kendall, this would be a lot better. Hey, Kendall, you should know. Like, that'd be so much better. Like, why do you think, people have said, why do you think Jesus can actually forgive me? Or another question, do you think Jesus really loves me? And I think that all of those things are kind of wrapped up in that question of like, why? Why does faith have to be blind? Like, why can't we just know these things? I've sat with so many students where maybe we've shared a week at camp together, we're sharing a small group, or we're sharing a cabin time, a family time together, and we're talking through things, and without a doubt, kids that are having a hard time like believing in Jesus, or believing that Jesus loves them, or believing that Jesus forgives them, they always ask this question like, yeah, Kendall, why does God make it so difficult? Like, if Jesus just walked in here tonight, and he stood here and was like, hey guys, I'm real, then we would all believe in him. These kids are like, why doesn't God do that? Like, why doesn't he just walk in and say, guys, I'm real, everyone believe in me? It'd be so much easier. Wouldn't that be so much easier? For sure. But the thing is, God, he doesn't work that way. He wants us to have faith in him. He wants us to believe without seeing. And one of the things that I find so interesting is this passage that I want to read to you. It's in Mark chapter 4. And in Mark chapter 4, there's this awesome story, one of my favorite stories in the entire Bible. And I'm just going to read it to you. Mark chapter 4, it's at the end of the chapter, verse 35. It says this, as evening came, Jesus said to his disciples, to his friends, let's cross to the other side of the lake. So they took Jesus in the boat, and they started out, leaving the crowds behind, although other boats followed along. But soon, a fierce storm came up. High waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. You gotta picture this, right? The boats we're talking about, this is not like a cruise ship, right? This is like a little kind of canoe-looking thing, maybe a little bit wider, a little bit longer. Maybe it had 2 levels, probably not. There were people rowing on the front and on the back, and there was maybe a sail in the middle that was kind of pushing them along. And you got to imagine that this lake, the storm whipped up, and the waves are coming up over the side of the boat. And the disciples, Jesus' friends, are in the boat, and they're freaking out. And they're like, oh my goodness, we're going to die. This is terrible. This is so awful. And it says this, Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a pillow. Checks out, right? Jesus is like, oh, it's cool. I'm just going to ride this one out in the bottom of the boat, right? So Jesus is just chilling in the back of the boat. He's sleeping. And it says that his friends, the disciples, they woke him up shouting, teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown? Like, they're freaking out. They are panicked. They think the boat is sinking. They're wet. I mean, Jesus has got to be wet at this point too. He's like laying in the puddle on the bottom of the boat. And they're like, Jesus, don't you care? We're going to die. And he's like, oh, dude, I was just catching a little nap here. It says, when Jesus woke up, he rebuked the wind and said to the waves, silence, be still. Now, I would love to have this happen to me sometime. Where last night, Saturday night, if you were outside last night, it was the windiest night we've had in a while. Like, cats and dogs were blowing away. It was crazy. And I mean, if I just walked out the doors of church last night and I just walked out and I was like, be still, and the wind just stopped, that'd be so cool. Wouldn't that be so cool? If I walked outside last night and I said, wind, be still, it would have blown me right back into the building. It was that windy, and I have no control over that. But Jesus says, silent, be still. Suddenly the wind stopped, there was a great calm. Then he looks at his disciples and he says this, why are you afraid? Why are we afraid? Because we were going to die. Like the way, did you not see the waves, Jesus? Were you not getting wet? Did you not think we were sinking? Why are we afraid? He says, do you still have no faith? The disciples were absolutely terrified. And they said to each other, who is this man? They asked each other. Even the wind and the waves obey him. I want us to look at that last question that the disciples asked. They said, who is this man? Even the wind and the waves obey him. These are the guys that have been hanging out with Jesus. He's been telling them who he is, that he's the Son of God, that he's going to die, that he's going to have all these things happen to him. He's been telling them over and over. And yes, this is kind of at the beginning of their time together, but they're following him because they've seen something different about him. They have to know. So here it is, Jesus is in front of them. Jesus is in front of them. They have eyes on him. They've spent time with him. They've been together. And even in the middle of all that, he stops the waves. Who is this man? Well, if he's a man, he probably wouldn't have control over the waves, right? He's either the luckiest guy alive, like he was like, wind, be still, and it just happened, right? Or he's some kind of God, right? And Jesus' friends, the people that have been hanging out with him, his disciples, his followers, they ask the question, who is this man? And for a lot of us, that's the question we ask. Who is Jesus? What's he all about? And we think, man, if we just see him, if we could just see Jesus, if he just walked in right now, walked in up here, he's like, hey, Kendall, I'm Jesus. And I was like, oh, hey, Jesus, good to see you. These are all my friends. And you'd go, hey, do you guys believe in Jesus now? You'd be like, yeah, we do. No, not necessarily. The disciples hung out with him every day, and they still didn't know who he was. They still didn't understand. And he says to them, do you still have no faith? See, faith is believing something. It's like they still didn't believe that he was God. They were still like, whoa, wow, that was crazy. How'd that happen? Wonder, who is this guy? Because they didn't have the faith yet. They could see him. He was right there, but they still didn't have the faith. So sometimes you might see somebody, you might see something, but if you don't have faith, maybe God's shown you over and over how much he cares about you. Maybe he's provided for you and for your family. Maybe he's offered you forgiveness. Maybe someone stood up here and told you about forgiveness over and over again, and you're like, I don't know if I can believe that. We have to have faith. And faith is being sure of something that we can't see. Believing something that we can't see. There's this other story I love. It's in the book of John. It's a group of Jesus' friends are together again. And this is after Jesus died. So Jesus died on a cross. 3 days later, he came back to life. And after that, he came and met all his friends. Like, they were all just hanging out in this room. And it says that all of a sudden, Jesus was there with them. They were locked in this room because they were scared for their lives because their leader had been killed. They thought maybe they're going to come and kill us. And so they're all just hanging out. And it says that all of a sudden Jesus was in the room with them. Ooh, right? That's crazy. Because he was just there. And he says to the disciples, he says these words. He says, one of the 12, or he says to them, hey, here I am. And they say, sorry. As he spoke, he showed them the wounds in his hands and his side. They were filled with joy when they saw the Lord. Again, he said, peace be with you. As the Father sent me, I am sending you. Then he breathed on them. They received the Holy Spirit. And if you forgive anyone's sins, they are forgiven. If you do not forgive them, they are not forgiven. But it says this, one of the 12 disciples, Thomas, he was not with the others when Jesus came. And they said to him, hey, Thomas, like, we saw him. Jesus was here. It was so cool. You missed it, but man, he's alive. Thomas says this. He says, I won't believe it unless I see the nail wounds in his hands, unless I put my fingers into them and place my hand onto the wound in his side. Like, I saw him die. I can't believe that he's alive. Even after all this time, even after knowing the story, even after hearing all the things from Jesus, being with Jesus, Thomas can't believe that his friend has come back to life. He says, I won't believe it. 8 days later, the disciples were together again. This time, Thomas was with them. The doors were locked, but suddenly, as before, Jesus was standing among them. Peace be with you, he said. Then he looked right at Thomas. Ooh, this would hurt, right? He said, put your finger here. Look at my hands. Put your hand into the wound in my side. Don't be faithless any longer. Believe. Then Thomas says, my Lord and my God, Thomas explained. And then the last verse, Jesus told him, you believe because you have seen me. Blessed are those who believe without seeing me. See, Thomas, he had a faith issue here too. He couldn't believe that Jesus was alive until he saw him. And that's what some of us struggle with. It's so difficult. It's so difficult at times to believe certain things, to believe in Jesus, to believe that he forgives us, to believe that he loves us. All of those things require faith on our part. It'd be so much easier if Jesus stood right next to us. And all he said was, hey guys, I love you. Hey, I forgive you. Hey, this is me. We have relationship. And that's what can happen, but it takes faith. It takes believing in what we can't see. It takes believing in a God that loves us so much, forgives us so much. It takes faith to believe that. Now, there's all different ways that people have proven, like that the Bible's real, that Jesus actually lived, that he actually died, that he actually came back to life. There's all these things that prove that. And it's kind of like the disciples, they said to Thomas, they said, hey, Thomas, listen, like, believe us. He was just here. You just missed him, but we stuck our finger in the nail holes. We stuck our hand in the side, and he's like, I can't believe. I can't believe without seeing. And so many of us, so many of you as high school students, myself included, we want to know more. We want to know more. We want to know that we're doing the right thing in our lives. We want to know that God has a plan for us and that we're going to be able to live according to his purpose. We want to know that when we choose something, we're choosing the right thing. We want to know that God's forgiven us for the sin that we've committed. We want to know that God loves us. We want to know that he created us, that he didn't make a mistake, that no matter what, he loves us. And because of that, we want that assurance. We want to be able to see that. We want to be able to know that, but we can't always have that happen. The thing I want to leave you with is this, is that we don't get to know everything until we get to heaven. We don't get to know everything until we get to heaven. And that's what's so beautiful about faith. It takes something from us to believe. If God just showed up, it would be all on him. But it takes something from us. It takes something deep inside of us to believe, to have that faith, and to follow after Jesus. Without seeing, without knowing, but knowing that someday we will spend eternity with him in heaven and he will answer all of the questions that we have. I'm going to pray for us, then we're going to do a couple things before we dismiss to our small groups. I would love for you guys to unpack this a little bit. What's hard for you to have faith in? What's easier for you to have faith in? What have you done to build your faith? Maybe you can help someone else out in your small group. So let me pray for us, and then we got a couple things before we finish up. Jesus, thank you. Thank you for this time here together. Thank you for this whole series that we got to do talking about questions that we have. God, thank you for the reminder tonight that it's about faith in you. God, we probably won't get to see you. We probably won't get to hear you in our ear, but God, we know that you exist. If that's hard for us, would you remind us? Would you give us faith? Would you give us faith when we don't have it? Would you help us to believe without seeing? Jesus, we love you. We pray these things in your name. Amen. All right. 2 things, and we're going to dismiss the small group. The first one is this. Next week, we are doing Friendsgiving. All right? Now, we're not going to have full-on like turkey meal or anything like that, but what we're going to do is we're going to get together, we're going to kind of do our normal service, we're going to have worship time, we're going to do all that, and then in our small groups, we're going to have some fun stuff, and we're going to have pie, okay? So we thought, what's the most important part of Thanksgiving? It's the pie. I mean, it's the mashed potatoes, but that'd be really weird to just show up and eat mashed potatoes, right? So it's the pie. We're going to have pie. We're going to hang out. It's going to be awesome. Invite your friends. Friendsgiving next week. Cool? Second thing is, we missed Impossible Shot at the beginning because I was not paying attention and setting it up. It's now set up, so we're doing Impossible Shot. I need the person whose birthday is the closest to April 7. April 7. Whose birthday is closest to April 7? Ethan, when's your birthday? April 14. Is anyone closer to April 7 than April 14? When's your birthday? Your birthday's April 7? When's your birthday? April 9? You don't want to do the Impossible Shot though? Well, that's okay because Josh's birthday is April 7, okay? So, what? You've already done the Impossible Shot? Get up here, doesn't matter. Your birthday's closest to April 7. All right, come on up. Oh my goodness, you guys, here's Impossible Shot. You know how this works?
Yes.
All right, here's your bow and arrow. You've got the Mountain Dew. If you hit the Mountain Dew, you get to keep the Mountain Dew. If you hit the pizza box, you win pizza for your entire small group. If you can drop it into the orange bucket, you win $50 Visa gift card. If you hit any of those with your first shot, you can take a second shot to try again. What are you aiming for?
Pizza.
She's going for the pizza. Freshman girls, small group, cheer her on because you might get pizza. Oh, that was so close. Jocelyn, great shot. Nice job. Maybe next week, you'll get to take the Impossible Shot. All right? Cool? Hey, I'm going to give you directions as to where you're going for your small group tonight. Here we go. I took notes. Lower underclassmen dudes, where are you? You're right over here. You guys are going up to Long's Peak, same place you always go.